Welcome to the Philip Koerper Show. I am Philip Koerper. It is November 5th, and this is episode 62. Excited to be with you guys today. Oh, I've got my Springfield Armory shirt on. Oh, yeah, look at this. The Saint 556. Oh, yeah. Very cool. And look, I've got my socks on. I've got my Donald Trump socks on. Yeah. Woo! I had those on at work. Oh, I was having so much fun. I'm having so much fun in the elections tomorrow. Oh, I've already voted because I'm out of Fayette County. Tomorrow I'm down here in Pike County working. But so excited about the election. I think we've got the momentum. Trump is, this has really just turned out to be the most amazing thing. Last year, the Republicans were just afraid of Donald Trump. And he has just been winning now for just about 2 years and doing so well. Promises made, promises kept. He's been doing exactly what he promised he would do, what he ran on. Impressive. And now the Republicans are just tying themselves to him. Almost all of the Republicans. Mitt Romney, of course, is a holdout now. I am embarrassed. He is supposedly he's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which I'm a member of too. He's criticizing Trump, and he's saying that the Donald's vilification of the media is unprecedented. Okay, I'm glad Donald's calling out the media. What is it, 94% negative? I mean, even Jimmy Carter is calling out the media for being hard on Trump. I don't know what Mitt Romney's up to. Who really cares? He's running for Orrin Hatch's spot in Utah as a United States Senate. Of course, he'll win. But not such a Romney fan. Now, as a senator, he'll probably vote conservative most of the time, okay? So that'll be good. But I don't really see what he's got to gain by all this virtue signaling. He should be defending Donald. He should not be criticizing Donald's criticism of the press. Donald's criticism of the press is totally legitimate. It's totally real. And if Donald doesn't call the press out, who will? Mitt Romney won't. Jimmy Carter will. So I just don't get it. So anyhow, tomorrow's the election day. People at work were asking me, what do you think's going to happen? It's amazing how many of my friends don't even know that the House of Representatives, those congressmen, are up for re-election every 2 years. Every 2 years. And the Senate, a third of the Senate is up for re-election each 2 years because they serve 6-year terms. So many people are ill-informed. I did have a friend who's a member of the church, and he asked me about how he should vote in Fayette County. There it's Andy Barr against Amy McGrath. Andy Barr is probably a 2 or 3 term congressman. I can't remember. He's been in for maybe, 6 years maybe, I think. 4 to 6 years, can't remember. When he actually replaced the Democrat, which was really pretty cool. And I really still, with the economy doing very well, a sitting Republican, I find it hard that very many sitting Republicans will lose. Amy McGrath is a flaming leftist, okay? And I let him know, being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the first thing I said is, well, Andy Barr is pro-life and Amy McGrath is pro-choice. She's pro-abortion. Okay, this is an easy moral situation for a Latter-day Saint. It should be very easy if you're going to look at that issue. Also, my friend hates Obamacare. And he hates it because his premium skyrocketed at his workplace and he had to pay a big increase in his health insurance. The same thing for me. My health insurance really went up in Fayette County with Obamacare, plus the Obamacare tax. But my company did pay those premiums. But that was really put my company in a hard position. So anyhow, Obama did lie so much about Obamacare. Keep your plan, you can keep your doctor. He said it over and over again. Pure lies, nonsense. And so anyhow, this will be exciting. 435 seats in the U.S. House are up for re-election, 35 Senate seats. And the Senate seats really favors the Republicans. Okay, many of those seats, the Democrats are pro-Trump states, where Trump won quite by quite a large margin over HRC. So that'll be interesting. 40 governorships are up. I'm really hoping that Georgia, that Kemp will beat Stacey Abrams. We will see. But I really think the momentum is going for Trump. And let me explain why. And the Republicans. First of all, Americans care about the economy. I had a funny conversation with some friends at work, and they actually are immigrants to the United States, which is really awesome. And they were actually fussing about, they were saying how, the Trump's going to get reelected just because it's all about Americans. And, Americans love their money. They love their money. And this was so ironic because these immigrants have come to the United States to make a lot of money, which I'm totally okay with. But they're complaining that Americans are just greedy for money. I just don't get this. There's nothing wrong with working hard in the United States and making a lot of money and the government not taking it away from you. So anyhow, this always kind of cracks me up when I hear people complaining like this. My friend was also talking about how he liked how Obama was really friendly to Cuba. And I'm like, oh, well, what about wet feet, dry feet? Well, Obama did away with the law or whatever it was. The regulation is the immigration policy where a Cuban just sets foot on American soil and he's automatically in, no questions asked. United States citizenship. Okay, so Obama did away with that. There wasn't a whimper or anything. And yet when the Donald is trying to work on, terrorism and limiting these countries from importing from all these immigrants coming from these countries where there are a lot of terrorists, suicidal terrorists, he was decried as being a racist against Muslims. And even these friends went after Donald for being anti-Jew. This lie, I just don't know where these guys get this. I just don't understand. There's only been one president of the United States who's been to the wall in Jerusalem. One president. Oh, guess who that is? Ding, 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 ding. Guess what? It's the Donald. They have a train station named after him in Israel. His relationship, ask Bibi Netanyahu about Donald Trump. Just go on Benjamin Netanyahu's Twitter account, and the praises for Donald are huge. Okay, Donald moved our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Good grief! Obama said he was going to do that, never did. W said he was going to do that, never did. I mean, just promises made, promises kept is what the Donald is all about. And he said he was going to do it, and he's got the guts to do it. This is why Donald Trump is perfect to be president right now. He is a fighter. He is so non-PC. Americans are sick and tired of political correctness. It is such a sham. We get these trigger warnings before these stories that there might be, NPR had one a few months ago. Trigger warning, there will be gunshots in this episode. And it was about people practicing shooting at a gun range. And yet later, a few days later, there were gunshots aired in a piece, and they were talking about like war in Syria, or I don't know where they were. But you could hear active gunshots that were recorded. And there was no trigger warning there. No, I guess that's okay. They're so biased. Okay, NPR, those leftists just hate guns in America. They want them all confiscated. They'll lie about that, but they want gun bans, total gun bans. I think, this Dianne Feinstein has really openly admitted that. Slippery slope, yes. Or that was Nancy Pelosi. Someone over in California was even admitting that they want the slippery slope to gun bans. They want to ban all guns in America. Oh, yeah, that'll make us really safe. Yeah, right. And so this is really interesting, this race in Illinois, in Indiana. So this is good. I mean, Senator Joe Donnelly is a Democrat senator in Indiana, and he is in a pickle, and he is in a really tough race. Republican Governor Bruce Rayner is running against him. This is so ironic. So Barry Obama goes up to Gary, Indiana. Okay, Gary, Indiana. Guess what famous singer is from Gary, Indiana? Michael Jackson, right? This is a very industrial area, inner city kind of stuff. And so Barry's up there trying to rally the Democrats. And this is really funny because he doesn't mention Trump by name, but he talks about, do you really want to keep promoting these bad Republicans? Republicans. And so, yeah, Barry's up there, talking about how we can get rid of these misbehaving Republicans. This is really ironic. Barry said, when you vote, you can be a check on bad behavior. And then, Barry repeated, this is a Fox News article. He said, society doesn't work unless words have meaning and consequences. And the only check right now on behavior of these Republicans is you and your vote. I mean, what is he talking about? Let me guess. Is he talking about the Brett Kavanaugh hearings and then complete disgusting falsification attacks on Brett Kavanaugh? Oh, just believe these women. Where almost all these women, they've completely admitted that they were lying. Completely false accusations against Brett Kavanaugh. So I don't know what Barry's talking about, but I don't think it's going over all the way. I really don't. This is really ironic because Joe Donnelly, the Democrat, the senator who's in trouble, who's up for re-election, he voted against Brett Kavanaugh, and he is actually making up all these excuses now on how often he votes with Trump. This is the same thing the Democrat senator in West Virginia, Joe Manchin, is doing the exact same thing. These guys are trying to get as close to Trump as they can. Heidi Heitkamp, senator in North Dakota, same thing. These Democrats are all just trying to move towards Trump so they don't lose their seats, because they know how many pro-Trump voters there are in North Dakota, in Indiana, and West Virginia. These are heavy Trump states. And so here's Barry up in Indiana, Gary, Indiana, which is right next to Chicago. It's basically a suburb of Chicago. And he's up there promoting Joe Donnelly. Okay, I don't think Joe Donnelly was even with him. Okay, Joe Donnelly doesn't even want to be seen next to Barry. Okay, yeah, but Barry's in Gary, Indiana, to try to get votes for Joe Donnelly, who's distancing himself from the Democrats and trying to cuddle up to Donald to get reelected. This is so ironic. I love it. This is just hilarious. So anyhow, I just find that funny. Okay, meanwhile, what's going on with Iran? Well, there's a cool picture of the Donald saying sanctions are coming. So Donald issued reimposed sanctions on Iran. Okay, and then he reimposed even more on this. Iran is a much different country than it was when I took office, Trump said. They wanted to take over the whole Middle East. Right now, they just want to survive. So this is great. On Twitter, on the 2nd, November 2nd, Donald tweeted, sanctions are coming. And so this Fox News article talks about the new American sanctions take aim at Iran's vital oil industry. You might wonder why I love to quote Fox, because those are the articles I usually click on because I don't want the leftist media to get my advertising revenue. So I try to click on these Fox articles. And anyhow, the national currency in Iran has plummeted over the last year amid an economic crisis. Their national currency, the rial, now trades at 145,000 to one US dollar, down from 40,501 dollar. Okay, so they have incredible inflation right now. So anyhow, it's just incredible. Iran is really in trouble. And so the only thing they can do is sell their oil, but the Donald's going after them. This is great. Okay, this is great because Iran is a huge enemy to the United States and it really the number one sponsor of terrorism. Terrorism needs a lot of money for them to pay off these people to go blow themselves up. And so it's going to be a nation that has that much money. And Iran is one of them. Iran is the one who funds the whole Palestinian conflict. All of this anti-Israel stuff, that money comes from Iran. Okay, so Iran is the number one enemy of Israel. And so Iran is also the number one enemy of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia hates Iran and vice versa. They're even fighting a proxy war in Yemen right now, where Saudi Arabia and Iran are basically attacking each other, and they're using Yemen as where their battlefield's going to be. And this is why Saudi Arabia, even though it's a pretty shady country, they are kind of our friend and ally right now because they are helping us go against Iran and be a check on Iran. So I love it. Donald is smart to put sanctions on Iran. Obama cozied up to Iran and gave them billions and billions of cash on pallets for that crummy Iran nuclear deal, which did not do anything. So glad that Donald got rid of that nonsense. Okay, so what's going on at the border? This is another reason why I think the election is going to lean towards the Republicans. I've got a lunch bet that the Senate will stay in the control of the Republicans. Most people, even liberals, agree to that. The House is really, a lot of people are saying it's too close to call. Even though with a Republican president, the opposite party, which is the Democrats here, they usually gain over 30 seats in the House. The House in the midterm elections usually swings against the party of the president. And so that would put the control of the House. There would be more Democrats than Republicans. And so Nancy Pelosi, I guess, would be the Speaker of the House again. And so I am hoping and praying that that will not happen. And there are a lot of seats right now where the Republicans are threatening to take over House seats from the Democrats. So I think the momentum is going for the Republicans right now and Donald Trump. The people are talking about four big issues when they're voting. They're talking about health care, and of course the Democrats are going to bring that up more than the Republicans. They talk about immigration. They talk about Trump and supporting Trump and probably going against Trump, and the economy. And so the economy is really good. And so if the economy holds, I think the Republicans may hold on to the House. That would be sweet. And this immigration issue, I mean, with these hordes of lawlessness, people coming up from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, coming up and just saying they're going to break into our country is ridiculous. And apparently the horde is growing now. And so I guess more Mexicans are joining with the march. But I think almost all Americans, the imagery of these guys throwing rocks at the Mexican police, knocking down barricades and forcing their way into Mexico. No, Americans do not like this. So we are going to win on this issue. I think we're going to totally win. And Donald has made this a wedge issue. He is going to say, hey, we might even have to shoot them. If they're throwing rocks at us, we're going to respond back. We're going to pretend those are rifles, is what Donald said. I love it. Of course, law and order. This is ridiculous. And so he's really boxing in the Republicans and the Democrats on that. Now, speaking of immigrants, of course, Republicans were very pro-legal immigration. Okay, we cannot stand this illegal immigration, and we want to be really careful with these immigrants, and we don't want to be overrun by refugees who do not embrace America, who hate us. Okay, well, there is a Breitbart story, for example, of this refugee, and he is from Iraq, and he has been accused of making 2 bombs in Las Vegas for attack. Okay, this guy was living in Tucson, Arizona, and he was busted by the FBI after the agency spent nearly 2 years operating an undercover sting where they say Ahmad, this guy's name is Ahmad Suhad Ahmad. This guy built bombs and taught undercover agents how to do the same. According to the FBI, the Iraqi refugee built 2 bombs in Las Vegas condo. Both of those bombs, investigators say, were meant for a terrorist attack in Mexico that Ahmad was planning. Okay, well, there you go. Wow. Okay, so this is the problem that Germany has right now, overrun by these young men who turn out to be terrorists. This is why Angela Merkel is in big doo-doo. She's in big trouble. So another story, was tweeted by Ryan Saavedra. On NBC Saturday Night Live, Peter Davidson mocks GOP congressional candidate Dan Crenshaw for losing his eye in the war. Quote, "You may be surprised to hear he's a congressional candidate from Texas and not a hitman in a porno movie. I'm sorry, I know he lost his eye in the war," or whatever. It's this mockery. And so the press got really mad when the Donald was playing tough with John McCain or with those Gold Star families, when Donald was really pretty tough and fighting back against those accusations and those politicians. And so I wonder if the media is going to be upset with this guy, mocking this guy's service. I mean, probably not. But it's really, yeah. So there you have it. Oh, I wanted to mention I got an email today. And I got an email from eBay. This is kind of odd. And so it's an email and it's like, oh, hey, don't forget tomorrow's election day. Get out and vote. So if you click on, they say, eBay Main Street, they wanted you to go there so you can check out things and get information. Well, it's not just it's not just information on like where to vote and who's running for re-election, what the sample ballots look out. No, it's an action center, okay? A total action center. And so anyhow, it's all about issues, okay? And so they go on and they talk about their featured issues. So they talk about an internet sales tax. eBay opposes any attempt to impose internet sales taxes. Okay, that's pretty cool. Global trade. They talk about that. Net neutrality, digital single market. They talk about sustainability. eBay is committed to becoming the leading global engine for greener commerce. So they talk about other voting things. Okay. So anyhow, eBay is like political now, and they're going to tell me how to vote left. So fascinating how they're getting political. I'm like, I don't want eBay to be political. I just, on Saturday, I just bought a new handgun. I'm selling the holster on eBay, my old holster. I don't want eBay that I just gave some money to. I don't want them to be political. Now, I know they're a leftist company, but I don't want them to be political. But they are. And so, anyhow, I can find a better alternative. I will use it. I was looking up the other day the Posse Comitatus Act. And so this is interesting. And so the Donald has sent the military, some military people down to the border. Now Obama did this and W did this. So this is really not a big deal. But the thing is, this is the act. This is in 1878, and it was signed by President Rutherford B. Hayes. So it basically, the purpose of this act, according to Wikipedia, in concert with the Insurrection Act of 1807, is to limit the powers of the federal government in using federal military personnel to enforce domestic policies within the United States. It was passed as an amendment to an Army appropriation bill following the end of Reconstruction. So, and this has been updated in 1956, 1981. So yes, to use the American military force in the United States is a touchy subject. We don't like too much federal power, okay? This is why the National Guard is in control of the governors of the states. And so Trump is sending the army down the border to protect, to help out with the horde coming, euphemistically called the caravan, these caravans. And so they've been saying that they're just there for support role and things like this. And so this is interesting. And it's interesting in the Latin, the posse comitatus. The posse is just basically, referred in the United States Army, and then the others have been added. And so the word's like a sheriff forming a posse. So when you're in the United States, for the president to use the military, like to get his way, it's an abuse of federal power. The title of the act comes from the legal concept of posse comitatus, the authority under which a county sheriff or other law officer conscripts any able-bodied man to assist him in keeping the peace. So that's what a posse is. You've seen some westerns, and let's organize a posse. Off they go. Let's go get some bad guys. So the president of the United States can't use his power, can't use the army or the Marines or anyone else on domestic issues. But the Donald has been really smart. He says this is a threat to America. So this is really not even a domestic issue. These are invaders. Donald called them invaders. So this is an invasion. Okay. And so we'll see what happens there. But my point with this is that Americans are not excited about some horde of people coming up through Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico and just blasting into America. Okay? No. And it's a bad idea. And I'm really glad that the Donald is speaking out against this and being strong and firm, telling them they're wasting their time, turn around, go back home. Mexico's offered them jobs and safety. So this is not about asylum. They could go to there's like 8 U.S. embassy spots or places to go in Mexico, including the embassy, where they can go and file for asylum. Okay, they can do that. They don't have to march all the way up to the border. So I've got just 2 more stories in wrapping up. Ted Cruz is retweeted Jim Carrey's tweet. Jim Carrey tweeted, "Go Beto, go Democrats. Vote like there's no tomorrow. Let's make this Tuesday like the end of every great vampire movie. Pull back the curtains and let the sunshine turn all those bloodsuckers to dust." There's Jim Carrey for you. Ted Cruz responds, "Hollywood liberals all in for Beto, but self-described socialist Jim Carrey made a mistake here. Vampires are dead, and everyone knows the dead vote Democrat." Oh, touche, Ted. I don't think Beto O'Rourke, Robert O'Rourke, where he used to go by, puts this Beto name in there to look like he's Hispanic. I don't think this guy has a snowball's chance in San Antonio of winning. There's no way. There's no way Ted Cruz is going to lose in Texas. A sitting senator with a popular president and a great economy, there is no way that Ted Cruz is going to lose. So the last story I had is just another exciting race. This is really exciting. Now, Senator Debbie Stabenow has been in Michigan as a senator, U.S. senator forever, for, who knows, since the posse comitatus law was invented, or act was invented. And so this is great because this cool West Point grad is going against her. And he's young, and he's energetic, and he's smart, and he's going after her. And he is okay. This is a CBN news article. Longtime Democrat senator in Michigan faces surging Republican challenger. So this guy's name is John James, and he is awesome. And so it'd be so cool if this young guy would beat a sitting senator in where is she? In Michigan. Oh, just be great. But remember that Donald won Michigan. Okay. So this is great. So if those Donald supporters could support John James, that would be another flip where a Democrat senator would lose and we would gain ground. I wanted to close with a scripture from the Book of Mormon, the Book of Mosiah, chapter 3, verse 19. For the natural man is an enemy to God and has been from the fall of Adam and will be forever and ever unless he yields to the enticings of the Holy Spirit and putteth off the natural man and becometh a saint through the atonement of Christ the Lord, and becometh as a child, submissive, meek, humble, patient, full of love, willing to submit to all things which the Lord seeth fit to inflict upon him, even as the child doth submit to his father. Thank you so much for listening. This is Philip Koerper. This is the Philip Koerper Show. Copyright 2018. Subscribe at iTunes or SoundCloud, or you can see the video on YouTube. Have a great day. Thanks. And go vote Republican.